What if excellence isn't something you're born with? What if it's a decision you make every single day? We live in a world that constantly tells women to be more, to look better, achieve faster, and prove themselves over and over again. But true excellence has never been about perfection. It's about purpose. It's about becoming the kind of woman whose character speaks louder than her accomplishments. Today, we're going to explore what separates ordinary living from extraordinary impact, and why becoming a woman of excellence starts long before anyone else notices. Have you ever noticed how many people spend years chasing success without ever asking themselves why they want it in the first place? They pursue promotions, recognition, relationships, and or financial security because those goals seem impressive or socially acceptable. Yet when they finally achieve them, they often discover an unexpected emptiness. The destination they worked so hard to reach doesn't provide the fulfillment they imagined. That's because purpose has always been more powerful than achievement. Achievement can impress people for a moment, but purpose gives your life direction every single day. The most remarkable women are not the ones who simply accomplish the most. They are the ones who understand what they stand for. They know the values that guide their decisions, and those values become the foundation of everything they build. When your life is built on purpose instead of popularity, you stop allowing other people's opinions to determine your worth. You no longer wake up wondering how to gain approval. Instead, you wake up asking how you can make a meaningful difference today. Every woman will face moments when life becomes uncertain. There will be seasons when opportunities disappear, relationships change, and carefully made plans fall apart. During those moments, talent alone is not enough to keep moving forward. Confidence alone is not enough. What carries you through uncertainty is knowing why you started in the first place. Purpose gives you the strength to remain committed even when the results are delayed. Many people confuse purpose with a career or a job title, but they are not the same thing. Your purpose is bigger than your profession. A teacher's purpose may be to inspire confidence in young minds. An entrepreneur's purpose may be to solve meaningful problems. A mother may find purpose in raising children who live with kindness and integrity. A student may discover purpose by preparing today for the opportunities of tomorrow. The role may change throughout life, but the purpose behind it can remain constant. One of the greatest mistakes we make is comparing our journey with someone else's. Social media has made comparison almost effortless. Every day we see highlights of other people's achievements, celebrations, vacations, and milestones. It becomes tempting to measure our progress against their success. But comparison steals clarity. It shifts your attention away from your own calling and places it on someone else's path. Excellence begins the moment you stop asking, "Why am I not living her life?" and start asking, "What kind of life am I meant to build?" Purpose also transforms the way you make decisions. When you know who you are and what you value, difficult choices become clearer. You become willing to say no to opportunities that look attractive but don't make it. You stop chasing every trend because you understand that not every opportunity deserves your light, energy. The ability to say no is often just as important as the courage to say yes. Living with purpose does not mean every day feels exciting. There will still be ordinary days filled with routine, responsibility, and hard work. But purpose gives meaning to those ordinary moments. Small actions become significant because you understand they are part of a much bigger picture. The habits you build today become the character you carry tomorrow. Every conversation, every act of kindness, every challenge you overcome becomes another step toward the woman you are becoming. Purpose also changes the way you view success. Instead of asking, "How much can I gain?" you begin asking, "How much value can I create?" That shift changes everything. You stop focusing only on recognition and begin focusing on contribution. Ironically, the people who make the greatest impact are often the ones who spend the least amount of time chasing applause. They are too focused on serving their mission. Becoming a woman of excellence starts long before anyone applauds you. It begins in the quiet decisions that nobody else sees. It begins when you choose integrity over convenience, growth over comfort, and purpose over popularity. It begins when you refuse to let fear, comparison, or self-doubt define your future. The world doesn't need another person trying to be someone else. It needs women who are courageous enough to become exactly who they were created to be. When you know your purpose, every challenge becomes more meaningful. Every success becomes more fulfilling. And every step forward becomes part of a legacy that extends far beyond your own life. We live in a world that celebrates achievements almost instantly. The moment someone earns a promotion, starts a successful business, gains thousands of followers, or receives an award, people notice. Success is visible. Character, however, is often invisible. It is built quietly, one decision at a time, long before anyone recognizes it. Yet if you study the women who create lasting influence, you'll discover something remarkable. Their greatest strength isn't what they have accomplished. It's who they have become along the way. A woman of excellence understands that success without character is fragile. You can build a reputation in a few years, but you can destroy it in a single moment. Skills may open doors, talent may create opportunities, and intelligence may attract attention, but character is what keeps those doors open. It is the foundation that supports every achievement. Without it, even the greatest accomplishments eventually lose their value. Character isn't something you switch on when people are watching. It reveals itself in the choices you make when no one is there to applaud you. It's choosing honesty when telling a lie would be easier. It's remaining humble when success gives you every reason to become proud. It's treating people with kindness, not because they can do something for you, but because kindness reflects who you are. Excellence is never about performing for an audience. It is about living with integrity, whether anyone notices or not. One of the biggest misconceptions is believing that character is formed during life's biggest moments. In reality, it is shaped in the smallest ones. Every promise you keep strengthens your integrity. Every challenge you face with patience builds resilience. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you become a little stronger than you were yesterday. Great character is simply the result of thousands of small decisions made consistently over time. Think about trust for a moment. Trust cannot be demanded, and it cannot be bought. It must be earned. Every meaningful relationship, whether in your family, your friendships, your workplace, or your community, is built on trust. People may admire your abilities, but they will only truly follow you if they trust your character. Trust grows when your words match your actions, when your promises become commitments, and when people know they can depend on you regardless of the circumstances. There will be moments when compromising your values seems like the quickest path to success. You may feel pressure to fit in, to stay silent when something is wrong, or to take shortcuts that promise immediate rewards. Those moments become defining moments. Excellence is choosing the harder right instead of the easier wrong. It means understanding that temporary gains are never worth sacrificing your integrity. A woman who protects her values protects her future. Humility is another essential part of character. True confidence doesn't need to announce itself. The strongest women are often the ones who continue learning, even after they become successful. They listen more than they speak. They admit when they make mistakes. They ask questions because they understand that growth never stops. Humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less often and making room to learn from others. Discipline also plays a vital role in building character. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you'll feel inspired, and other mornings you won't. If your life depends only on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline is what carries you forward when emotions fade. It is waking up with purpose, even when you don't feel like it. It is keeping your commitments, even when they become inconvenient. Excellence isn't created by occasional bursts of effort. It's created by consistent action repeated over months and years. Kindness is another quality that should never be underestimated. In a world where criticism is common and negativity spreads quickly, kindness becomes a quiet form of strength. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you approachable, trustworthy, and respected. The words you choose, the encouragement you offer, and the compassion you show can change someone's entire day without you ever realizing it. People may forget what you achieved, but they rarely forget how you made them feel. At the end of the day, your achievements will fill a resume, but your character will define your legacy. Awards will gather dust, titles may change, and accomplishments will eventually become history. But integrity, humility, discipline, honesty, and kindness leave an impact that lasts far beyond any trophy or recognition. Becoming a woman of excellence is not about collecting more success than everyone else. It is about becoming the kind of person whose values remain unshaken, whose actions reflect her principles, and whose life inspires others not simply because of what she achieved, but because of who she chose to become. Every woman dreams of a life filled with confidence, success, and happiness. Yet very few imagine that the road to becoming extraordinary is often paved with disappointment, failure, rejection, and uncertainty. We naturally want life to be smooth. We hope every plan works out, every opportunity leads to success, and every relationship remains strong. But the truth is that growth has never been born from comfort. It is shaped in the moments that test your patience, challenge your beliefs, and force you to become stronger than you ever thought possible. The women who leave the greatest mark on the world are not those who avoided difficult seasons. They are the ones who refused to let difficult seasons define them. Every challenge became an opportunity to grow. Every setback became a lesson instead of a life sentence. Every obstacle became a chance to discover strengths they didn't know they possessed. Excellence is not about having a perfect journey. It is about developing the courage to keep moving forward when the journey becomes difficult. Think about how a diamond is formed. It begins as ordinary carbon buried deep beneath the earth. It becomes valuable only after enduring years of intense pressure and heat. Without that pressure, the diamond would never exist. In many ways, human character is formed the same way. Pressure doesn't always destroy you. More often, it reveals who you are and shapes who you can become. The challenges you face today may be preparing you for responsibilities you are not yet ready to understand. One of the greatest obstacles to growth is the fear of failure. Many women hesitate to pursue their dreams because they worry about making mistakes. They wait until they feel completely prepared before taking the first step. But confidence is rarely something you have before you begin. Confidence grows because you begin. Every successful person you admire has experienced failure. The difference is that they refused to let failure become their identity. They understood that failing at something does not mean they are a failure as a person. Failure is one of life's greatest teachers because it forces you to examine your approach. Success often hides weaknesses, but failure exposes them so they can be improved. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" That single question changes your mindset from becoming a victim of your circumstances to becoming a student of your experiences. Every lesson learned through hardship becomes wisdom that no classroom can teach. Growth also requires letting go of the need to control everything. Life will not always follow your carefully written plans. Sometimes doors close unexpectedly. Sometimes opportunities disappear just when they seem within reach. Sometimes people leave and circumstances change without warning. Those moments are painful, but they often redirect you towards something better. Looking back, many people realize that what felt like their greatest disappointment eventually became the turning point that transformed their lives. Resilience is not the absence of emotion. A resilient woman still feels fear, disappointment, sadness, and frustration. The difference is that she refuses to remain trapped by those emotions. She allows herself to feel them, but she does not allow them to control her decisions. She chooses hope over despair, determination over surrender, and faith over fear. Every time she gets back up after falling, she becomes stronger than she was before. Another important lesson challenges teach us is patience. We live in a culture that expects instant results. We want immediate success, immediate recognition, and immediate answers. But the most meaningful growth is rarely immediate. Just as a tree spends years developing strong roots, before it reaches its full height, people spend years developing the character needed to sustain lasting success. If growth happened overnight, we would never develop the wisdom required to handle it responsibly. Challenges also teach gratitude. During comfortable seasons, it is easy to overlook the blessings that surround us. Difficult moments remind us of what truly matters: our values, our relationships, our health, our faith, and our inner strength. They strip away distractions and help us focus on the things that have lasting significance. Often, what we gain from hardship is far more valuable than what we lose. Remember, becoming a woman of excellence is not about avoiding storms. It is about learning how to stand firmly in the middle of them. Every challenge you overcome adds another layer of wisdom, strength, and confidence to your character. Every setback prepares you for a greater comeback. Every difficult season shapes a stronger future. One day, you will look back on the obstacles that once seemed impossible and realize they were never placed in your path to stop you. They were placed there to transform you into the woman you were always capable of becoming. One of the biggest misconceptions about leadership is that it begins with a title, a position, or authority. Many people believe you become a leader only after someone gives you a promotion, places you in charge of a team, or recognizes your achievements. But true leadership has never started with a title. It starts with a decision to serve others before seeking recognition for yourself. A woman of excellence understands that influence is not measured by how many people work for WoW, but by how many people become stronger because of her presence. Think about the people who have had the greatest impact on your life. Chances are, you don't remember them because they constantly talked about themselves or demanded attention. You remember them because they believed in you. They encouraged you when you doubted yourself. They listened when you needed someone to understand. They gave their time, their wisdom, and their support without expecting anything in return. That is the essence of servant leadership. It is not about being the center of attention. It is about helping others discover their own potential. In today's world, many people are chasing visibility instead of value. Social media has created an environment where likes, followers, and public recognition often seem more important than genuine contribution. It is easy to become focused on appearing successful rather than being helpful. But excellence is never built on appearances alone. It is built on the quiet commitment to make someone else's life better, even when no one is watching. Recognition may come and go, but the lives you positively influence become your true legacy. Serving others does not mean ignoring your own goals or allowing people to take advantage of your kindness. Service is not weakness. It is one of the greatest forms of strength because it requires humility, patience, and genuine compassion. A woman who serves understands that lifting others up never diminishes her own success. In fact, when you help others grow, you grow alongside them. Success becomes far more meaningful when it is shared. One of the simplest ways to lead through service is by choosing encouragement over criticism. Every person you meet is fighting battles you may never see. Some are struggling with self-doubt. Others are carrying disappointment, fear, or uncertainty. A few sincere words of encouragement can completely change the direction of someone's day. Never underestimate the power of telling someone, "I believe in you," or "You are capable of more than you think." Sometimes the confidence you give another person becomes the very thing that helps them succeed. Listening is another powerful act of service. Most people listen only long enough to prepare their next response. Few people truly listen to understand. A woman of excellence makes people feel heard, respected, and valued. She understands that giving someone your full attention is one of the greatest gifts you can give. When people know they are genuinely heard, trust begins to grow, and trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. Service also means celebrating the success of others without allowing jealousy to take root in your heart. It is easy to applaud someone when your own life is going well. It becomes much harder when you are still waiting for your own breakthrough. Yet true excellence chooses gratitude over comparison. It understands that another person's success does not reduce your opportunities. There is enough room for everyone to grow, succeed, and make a difference. When you celebrate others sincerely, you create an atmosphere where encouragement replaces competition. Leadership through service also requires courage. Sometimes serving others means having difficult conversations with honesty and compassion. It means standing up for someone who has no voice. It means protecting those who are vulnerable, speaking truth with kindness, and doing what is right even when it is unpopular. Service is not always comfortable, but it is always meaningful. The strongest leaders are willing to sacrifice personal comfort for the well-being of those they care about. Generosity extends beyond money. You can be generous with your time, your knowledge, your patience, your forgiveness, and your attention. A smile offered to a stranger, guidance shared with someone just beginning their journey, or a simple act of kindness toward a friend who is struggling can have an impact far greater than you realize. Often, the smallest acts of generosity leave the deepest impressions because they remind people they are not alone. At the end of your life, people are unlikely to remember every achievement, every award, or every milestone you reached. What they will remember is how you made them feel. They will remember whether you inspired hope during difficult times, whether you extended kindness when it was needed most, and whether your presence brought peace, encouragement, and strength into their lives. Becoming a woman of excellence means understanding that leadership is not about building a purity, but platform for yourself. It is about building bridges for others. When you choose to serve instead of seeking recognition, you create a life that carries influence far beyond your own success. leaving a legacy that continues to inspire long after you are gone. Every woman has dreams that she hopes to achieve and a vision of the person she wants to become. But what many people fail to realize is that your future is shaped not only by the goals you set, but also by the environment you choose. Excellence is rarely an accident. It grows in places that encourage learning, integrity, courage, and growth. If you spend your life surrounded by negativity, doubt, and constant criticism, it becomes difficult to see your own potential. But when you intentionally protect your mindset and surround yourself with people who inspire you to become better, your entire life begins to change. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant and consistently nurture will eventually grow. If you allow fear, comparison, resentment, and self-doubt to take root, they will slowly influence the way you think, the decisions you make, and the opportunities you pursue. On the other hand, if you fill your mind with hope, wisdom, gratitude, and confidence, those thoughts will begin shaping your actions in a positive direction. The battle for excellence always begins in the mind before it is ever seen in your actions. One of the greatest challenges women face today is the constant noise of comparison. Every day, social media presents carefully edited versions of other people's lives. You see their achievements, celebrations, vacations, perfect photographs, and success stories. What you rarely see are their struggles, failures, sacrifices, and moments of uncertainty. If you compare your everyday reality to someone else's highlight reel, you will always feel as though you are falling behind. But comparison is a thief. It steals your confidence, distracts you from your purpose, and causes you to overlook the progress you are already making. A woman of excellence understands that she cannot control everything happening around her, but she can control what she allows into her mind. She becomes intentional about the voices she listens to. She pays attention to the books she reads, the conversations she participates in, the content she consumes, and the people she spends time with. Every influence either strengthens your mindset or weakens it. Every conversation either inspires growth or feeds negativity. Every habit either moves you closer to your purpose or further away from it. The people closest to you have an incredible impact on your future. Human beings naturally adapt to their environment. If you are constantly surrounded by people who complain, make excuses, and refuse to grow, it becomes easier to adopt those same attitudes without even realizing it. But when you spend time with people who are disciplined, optimistic, humble, and committed to continuous improvement, their habits begin to influence your own. Excellence is contagious when you choose the right company. This doesn't mean removing everyone from your life who is struggling. Compassion and loyalty are important qualities. However, there is a difference between helping someone through a difficult season and allowing constant negativity to become the atmosphere in which you live. A woman of excellence learns to set healthy boundaries. She protects her peace without losing her kindness. She understands that saying no to unhealthy influences allows her to say yes to the future she is working to build. Protecting your mindset also means learning to speak to yourself with wisdom instead of criticism. Many women become their own harshest critics. They replay mistakes over and over, focus on weaknesses, and convince themselves they are not capable enough, talented enough, or worthy enough. But your inner dialogue becomes the soundtrack of your life. If you constantly tell yourself that you cannot succeed, eventually your actions will reflect those beliefs. Instead, learn to replace limiting thoughts with truthful, empowering ones. Remind yourself that every expert was once a beginner. Every confident person once faced fear, and every successful journey started with one uncertain step. Continuous learning is another habit that strengthens your mindset. The women who continue growing are the ones who never stop learning. They read books that expand their thinking. They seek mentors who challenge them to improve. They ask thoughtful questions instead of pretending to know everything. They understand that knowledge is not something you collect for pride. It is something you use to become wiser, more compassionate, and more effective in serving others. Growth is a lifelong journey, and every lesson learned prepares you for the opportunities ahead. Gratitude is also a powerful protector of the mind. It is difficult for negativity to dominate a heart that regularly recognizes its blessings. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is already present. It reminds you that even during difficult seasons, there is always something worth appreciating. A grateful woman develops resilience because she understands that every challenge carries an opportunity to learn, and every blessing carries a reason to remain hopeful. At the end of the day, becoming a woman of excellence requires guarding the most valuable place you possess, your mind. Your thoughts shape your beliefs influence your actions, and your actions create your future. Choose relationships that encourage growth. Fill your mind with wisdom instead of fear. Protect your peace without abandoning your compassion. Continue learning, continue believing, and continue moving toward your purpose. When you intentionally create an environment that supports excellence, you don't simply change your mindset. You change the direction of your entire life. At the end of life, very few people wish they had earned one more award, accumulated more possessions, or received more applause. Instead, they think about the lives they touched, the relationships they built, the values they lived by, and the difference they made in the world. That is the difference between living for a lifestyle and living for a legacy. A lifestyle is focused on what you can gain today. A legacy is focused on what you will leave behind tomorrow. A woman of excellence understands that true success is not measured by temporary achievements, but by the lasting impact of her character and the lives she influences. We live in a culture that encourages us to chase instant gratification. We are constantly told to seek comfort, recognition, and personal success as quickly as possible. While there is nothing wrong with enjoying the rewards of hard work, those rewards should never become the ultimate purpose of life. Material possessions fade, trends change, and public attention eventually moves on. But the influence you have on another person's life can continue for generations. The encouragement you give today may inspire someone to achieve their dreams tomorrow. The kindness you show today may become the reason someone chooses hope instead of giving up. A legacy is built one decision at a time. It is not created in one extraordinary moment, but through thousands of ordinary choices made, consistently over the years. Every time you choose honesty over deception, courage over fear, forgiveness over bitterness, and service over selfishness, you are building the kind of legacy that people will remember. These decisions may seem small in the moment, but together they shape the story of your life. Excellence is not found in dramatic moments alone. It is revealed in daily faithfulness. One of the greatest questions you can ask yourself is not, what do I want people to think about me? But how do I want people to feel because they knew me? Do you want people to remember your generosity, your compassion, your wisdom, your integrity, your ability to lift others when they were struggling? Those are the qualities that leave lasting impressions. Long after people forget your accomplishments, they will remember how your presence made them feel. They will remember whether you brought peace into difficult situations, hope into moments of despair, and encouragement into seasons of uncertainty. Living for a legacy also means remaining faithful to your values when no one is watching. It is easy to make the right choices when there is recognition waiting on the other side. The real test of character comes when there is no applause, no reward, and no audience. A woman of excellence understands that integrity is not dependent on circumstances. She does the right thing because it reflects who she is, not because someone else is keeping score. Those quiet moments of integrity become the strongest foundation of an extraordinary life. Legacy requires patience because meaningful influence rarely happens overnight. Just as a tree spends years growing deep roots before it provides shade for others, your investment in people may take years before you see the results. There will be moments when your efforts seem unnoticed and your sacrifices unrecognized, but never underestimate the power of consistency. Every encouraging word, every lesson you teach, every act of kindness, and every example you set is planting seeds. You may never see every life those seeds will touch, but that does not make them any less valuable. Another important part of building a legacy is helping others succeed. Some people become successful by climbing over others, but women of excellence become unforgettable by lifting others as they rise. They mentor those who are just beginning. They celebrate the victories of others without jealousy. They share knowledge instead of guarding it. They understand that leadership is not about creating followers. It is about creating more leaders. The greatest measure of your success is not how high you climb, but how many people are stronger, because you chose to help them. Living for a legacy also means embracing resilience. Every meaningful life includes seasons of hardship, disappointment, and unexpected change. Those moments are not interruptions to your purpose. They are often the very experiences that deepen your wisdom and expand your compassion. The struggles you overcome today become the stories that encourage someone else tomorrow. Your perseverance becomes proof that challenges can be faced with courage, and your faithfulness becomes an example that inspires others to keep going, even when life becomes chaos. Finally, remember that becoming a woman of excellence is not about achieving perfection. It is about pursuing purpose with consistency, leading with humility, loving with sincerity, and living with integrity. Your legacy is not written by one remarkable achievement, but by the countless choices you make in every day. Choose to be a woman whose words bring hope, whose actions reflect kindness, whose character remains steady, and whose life points others toward courage and purpose. Years from now, people may not remember everything you said or everything you accomplished, but they will remember the way you inspired them to believe in themselves, to live with integrity, and to become better because they had the privilege of knowing you. That is the legacy of a woman of excellence, and it is a legacy that no amount of wealth, recognition, or success can ever replace.